Hello there, and welcome back, my lovely friends. Today, in short, I would like to pay my respects to what I believe to be the greatest album of all time recorded thus far. See if you can spot this one. In my mind, the 1992 unplugged version of Eric Clapton signifies and encapsulates the great change, both musically and personally, that the artist faces in that early 90s period. Now, I think it goes without saying that with the release of Tears in Heaven and the awful tragedy which befell his family, that Eric Clapton as a man faced his own fair share of troubles and subsequently was forced to change as a result. But I would like to just kind of let the personal side be for a moment and focus more on the musical. These changes that took place in Eric Clapton's personal life, the way they impacted his musicianship and the way he approached music really changed him, in my opinion, not necessarily for the better, but towards a more sustainable artist who continues to improve with age. Feel free to tell me down below which version of Clapton you prefer, the pre-1992 era, Gibson rocking high-gain Marshall stacks, or perhaps the more refined Fender rocking Dumble, Fender amp, technical acoustic playing, slightly more modern Clapton. I'm not going to share my full opinion right now, but feel free to say something below. With the release of the 1992 Unplugged album, long gone are the days where you would have a Gibson sporting Eric Clapton plugged straight into a blues breaker, and that young face which put Jim Marshall and his amplifier company on the map and made it, well, made it the powerhouse which I believe it to be today, capable of competing with Fender, Vox, I'm such a boomer, I can't really think of anything else off the top of my head, aside from maybe Mesa Boogie, but you get my point. The rambunctious, old-school, high-gain, blues-adjacent Eric Clapton is to be swept away, not completely, not under the rug, mind you, but gently replaced by a much more refined musician who, instead of giving us blistering solos and gobsmacking live performances which are going to set us back in our seats for years to come, rather has the same ability to impact us, but with subtle technique, wonderful songwriting, and the elegance of someone who has completely matured, both musically and personally. And this is the importance I attribute to the 1992 recording. Frankly, the opening of the album with his acoustic rendition of Senior is bloody staggering. It's just Eric on his own, backed up by his lovely band. Eric on his own, just giving us all he can without all the tools that kind of gave him his identity thus far. I find it amazing how he can still maintain his own musicianship, and we can still recognize him as Eric Clapton through all the tonal changes that take place between what he was doing before and what he does now. And why did I mention earlier that these changes specifically were to the betterment of Eric Clapton as an artist? Well, firstly, I believe the most simple thing is it offers him versatility. Now, Eric is still more than capable of pulling out some of those older school vibes, as we've seen in various live occasions, and I love to hear flared up in the Riding with the King album with the king himself, B.B. King. But I just think that the Slowhand gradually refining himself into a much more technical approach to playing the guitar brings out his musical creativity to find catchy melodies and articulate riffs within simple constructs, and at the same time gives him the ability to expand and see multiple genres, yet still, in a way, maintaining himself as the purest British bluesman, I would argue, of the early 60s British guitar players that we have yet to see. Frankly, one of the only people I would argue has aged as well as him from that era would be Jeff Beck, but, you know, he went in a completely different direction, so maybe that merits its own video. Subscribe for more later on. And in a way, I suppose this video, this rambunctious praise of the 1992 recording of Eric Clapton and the cascading excellence of each and every single song in that album comes out of a little bit of sadness in the fact that I haven't had my opportunity to make good on the live performance of 2020 that he was supposed to see through in his UK tour, which for obvious reasons didn't happen, and hopefully give any of you out there who have not yet sat down and listened, just truly listened, to the original 1992 recording, maybe flared up a little bit of an interest in you and let you go there. Although this review hasn't been too technical, one of the little licks, and Nobody Knows When You're Out, Down and Out, where he transitions back to the general rhythm section. Oh, don't you just love that? The sweet little elegance of the
that's hot. That's hot.
the little slide into the dissonant note, swinging back to home to that little C, getting us back in key and into the chord, which leads back into the riff of the song. Absolutely stunning, just getting the old blues, adding some elegance, adding some refinement and pizzazz. So seriously, if you have not listened to that album, go through it, listen to it right now, and if you want to hear maybe some more in-depth song-by-song analyses yet to come, give us a sub just to stay tuned for more, and maybe tell me down below if that would be something that you're interested in, because I've tried my best to learn a couple of them, but I would really love to give myself an excuse to learn more. So, that being said, thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you whenever you decide to tune back in, and I will bid you adieu as follows.